Balance Post, Season 2 begins. For the Vanguards, Captain America, Steve will undergo some adjustments to his survivability, leading to a slight decrease in his overall resilience. Base health reduced from 675 to 650. Reduced the shield value of Living Legend from 400 to 350. Well, I could agree that Captain America seems somewhat hard to kill. I wouldn't say that his survivability was the main problem with him. I think it's that the rest of his kit is kind of just buns, and the only thing that he kind of had was the ability to survive for obnoxiously long. So while turning this down does do that, like I guess we could just see what he plays like with this. But I know they just gave him a buff and stuff like that, but I still think his kit, like, it just needs to be less gen. Needs to fall a little bit more. There's no problem with like a dive tank feeling type thing. There's multiple of those. He was just on the list of one of the feeling unkillable, and his kit is actually kind of buns compared to the rest that can dive and do that. So taking that down, I see it. Yeah, he has been doing pretty nice DPS wise. Like killing off the squishies that he's diving for. We'll see if he can still kind of do that, but with less health, and there'll be some balance to him. Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme will see a reduction in his offensive capabilities, limiting his battlefield control. Decreased daggers of dark damage per projectile from 18 to 16. Reduce Maelstrom of Madness conversion ratio of dark magic to 1.3 to 1.2. I don't think on this character, this is not my issue with him. I feel like it's something that they'll eventually get to, and I don't know if everybody else is registering it the same way, but this move, I believe this is the move that they added damage fall off to in the area of effect that it does. That still is not enough. That move still feels it does way too much damage when you're on the outside range of it. As well, I'll maybe take how big the range is of this move, but what has to change is his ult needs to have a smaller radius of like the hitbox of who it hits. That ult, it feels far too often that when you're on towards the outside of the move, it doesn't feel like it should have hit you. I understand it if that move is a little bit smaller and like people have to be really clustered up. There's a bunch of moves that kind of do that, and there's a bunch of ways with portals and his flight you can end up getting good picks even if the radius is small. Currently the radius on that ult is way too big, and I never had a problem with how much he gets his ult. I've never had a problem with this. Is pretty bad, but I feel like number one, this isn't the fix to this move. For this needs like more damage fall off for how far you are. And if you were even thinking about doing something like this, to me it was just like, yo, change that ult first. Like that ult lands way too hard, and it's like I don't even know if they were even thinking about the ult with this one, because they didn't even mention like his ult charge or whatnot. I feel like he gets that pretty quick, but these were my problems with him, and I feel like if you just change those, I'd be fine with the character and how much it does. Like how fast he gets ult, how much damage he can do, all the utility he has. That's kind of fine. His ult radius is way too big, and this move hits way too hard when you're standing pretty far from it. I would just think those need to go on him, but we'll see what this thing does. I think it just makes people less guilty about playing him. Hit their shots a little bit more too. I don't know how much this 2 damage is going to matter, but we'll see. Hulk. The Green Goliath will boast enhanced maneuverability and improved survivability upon entering combat. Increased base movement speed from 600 to 650. Okay, that's kind of respect. He kind of needed that. Reduced cooldown time for indestructible guard from 12 to 10 seconds. Is that the bubble move? Is that the bubble move? Hold on. Is that the bubble move? Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts. That's the bubble move? They gotta... Nah, son. That's wild. He didn't need that anymore than he already had it. Him plus Magneto is nuts. Maybe it's trying to, like, show newer comps and stuff like that, but... like, the shield meta is already kind of good. We don't need more people throwing up indestructible bubbles on themselves. Decrease minimum charge time for incredible loot. I'm good with the movement changes. He needed those. This is wild. We don't need this an extra 2 seconds, but we'll see. It's only 2 seconds. But he already got that way too much, bro. That's the entire team shielded from anything that, like, hits them. One instance of a hit on the entire team, on your tank, he could just pop that? That's crazy, bro. Yeah, an extra 2 seconds on that, I feel like that's a lot, but we'll see. Magneto, the master of magnetism, will experience a slight decrease in the frequency of his ultimate ability. Increase the energy cost for Meteor M ultimate ability from 3,100 to 3,400. Alright. Magneto's problem is not this. From my current standing, and from experience in some Celestial matches, this is not his problem. Maybe 2 ranks higher, it's his problem, but his problem is that he doesn't do much of anything, and this ult does not kill, like, really anything. It doesn't kill anything besides a Cloak and Dagger, or whoever he literally puts his hard attention on. Which for an ult, okay, fine. But, like, the chance Magneto is about to wipe out 5 people without some assistance, or some crazy play of some sort with his ult, is insane. This ult's problem is the fact that it really doesn't have any, and the rest of his kit, it doesn't have any other utility besides stopping Cloak and Dagger's ult. Or a healer ult that feels impossible to kill. But I've tossed this thing at a full health group on the last second. I don't care if people even didn't shoot it. At a full health group on the last second, it does not kill him. And I've seen somebody toss it. I'm pretty sure people shot at it. Landed on a Luna Snow during her ult, still didn't kill him. This thing has no other use besides really killing Cloak and Dagger or getting one specific, like 1 or 2 specific kills. You really get lucky, or, you know, something else got to be happening in the game for Magneto to just be dropping 3 pieces with his ult, no assistance. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, like, I feel like the rest of his, the little tinfoil he be shooting out on his basics and his right click, that gotta, we need a little bit more of that, or maybe make his shield interaction just a little bit different. Like, his shield boosts the amount of right click that he has. That would honestly, like, that could maybe do something. That I feel like that'll increase using Magneto. I feel like that'll increase using Magneto for multiple options rather than you just being the guy who kills the healer. You know what I'm saying? Maybe kills the healer off. You know what I'm saying? We need him interacting with more things, and then, like, but I mean, I feel like with this maybe I got, you know, I'll keep going down it, but I'm getting a theme from like 3, 4 so far that they're like testing, maybe. But I have some theories on this Magneto one. I'll probably come back to it. I have some theories on why this is kind of like this. Peni will receive enhancements to her primary attack damage efficiency and a boost to her survivability and combat capabilities. Cyberweb Cluster now has a chance to crit. Reduce movement speed penalty while firing Cyberweb Cluster from 40% to 20% with Cyberweb Cluster. Okay. Increase base health from 650 to 750. This actually, and especially if they do those changes they were talking about, where the way it was now you were easily able to destroy Peni mines when you did like more AoE attacks. Like an example, you would normally kill a Cloak and Dagger if they would dash into a bunch of your Peni mines, but instead on a recent patch it was that like Cloak in her ult was destroying them as they were, you know, revealing themselves or whatever. So it was resulting in people just doing a lot of AoE attacks in their mines and not paying the penalties for being in there. So if they fixed that, or maybe they did already, I don't know, I haven't played Peni in a minute, but if that plus now her infinite guns, she moves, I ain't gonna say double the speed, but basically, like, this is half tier. She moves a lot faster, and it can now headshot. Dope. That's interesting to see. I'm happy with this, because this is like a let's see what happens. I always thought like maybe like she's kind of good without it. Well, like the mines are a little iffy, so I see giving her something else to do besides just focusing on mines, because we don't want the entire conversation to be how perfect the mines can be when the rest of her kit definitely just probably needs some work. So I can see this change right here. It's kind of sick. The Thing, the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing, will see a slight reduction in his damage reduction effect. Decrease in battled leaps damage reduction effect for himself and teammates from 30% to 25%. I still feel like this is another, like, we'll see what happens type of thing. I think there's a bunch of things you can do with the character like the Thing, especially considering that there's multiple other people who fit the archetype of playing like the Thing or the Hulk in, you know, the Marvel universe, and how he's going to be distinguished from, say, a Colossus or a Juggernaut or whatever, you know what I'm saying, one of those characters. There's a lot you can do with his kit right now to see what options are available for these guys. So this is kind of a slow roll, just being like, let me just decrease his like leap distance. Like, I think his charge is pretty fun. Like, I'm pretty sure you could come up with something to do for that, or you're saving that for another character, you know what I'm saying? Or I think his right click and the punchy gameplay is interesting, especially how it definitely can work in at least tough battles. I've seen a Thing be an absolute monster on my team or on the enemy team. So his kit's kind of interesting. I do feel like he's a little bit powerful, but I don't know. I like giving people more abilities, and like that's how you'll nerf them. Like, make things weaker, but give him a bunch of newer things to do. Are they saving it for somebody else, or are they just sleeping by just being like, oh, let's just take down his damage leap reduction? Well, like, guy only has like 4 moves. Like, what you gonna do after that? You know what I'm saying? The mighty Thor will receive an increase in survivability, increase base health from 525 to 600. Increase base movement speed from 600 to 650. A Thor buff is crazy, but we're just gonna see where that goes. A Thor buff is insane though, and that's just like a buff. Like thank God it wasn't damage in some form or fashion. But yo, an extra 75 health? Nah, son. That's like 2-3 hits from Hela, body shots or something. Nah, son. That's crazy. Who said he, like, alright, whatever, bro. I'm catching a theme that it's just gonna be like, we gonna vibe out and see what happens. Duelist, Black Widow. Natasha is receiving optimizations to her shooting experience. Added a new effect where Black Widow can directly shoot after releasing the second kick of her Edge Dancer and after using Electroplasma Explosion ability. This is dope. I do hate to see forcing one-shots on characters to make them interesting. Forcing a one-shot cycle. They kind of did it with, like, Storm. Like, Storm is pretty good, but once they gave her a good buff, and Storm has her own, like, things and problems, but I do think one of the things was, like, making the cycle of, like, basic attack into E, and then one more basic attack, and then the E second lightning will hit or something like that. Like, they made that like combo. It was like a little bit longer than that, I think, at the beginning, or like even in there you can mix in a right click, but it's like a little cycle you can do. And I was always like, you know, it was kind of fun having like a bigger window because you would have more technical skill getting to that goal. So with Black Widow, I do think the kick that she had, the fact that the few times I would play her, I was like, I have to remember before I kick somebody that my gun should have been cocked back, because if not, I'll kick them and have to cock the weapon back. I don't know if, I don't think it does that all the time. Let me actually confirm that. Maybe it did that all the time and I was imagining when I thought I tacked out of it. But if you would basically have the gun cocked beforehand, you could shoot immediately. Rather than if you like just shot and then kick somebody, you would still have to cock your gun back when you finish the kick. So it was good to have it already set up. It doesn't really mention a recovery time. And I feel like it does on sometimes. Yeah, like look, it's telling you the speed at which it recovers the energy cost from here. Like, I'm pretty sure it would have told me how long I'm stunned if I were using this ability. It doesn't have that, so I kind of appreciated that. And I think like I was saying with the thing, like, give him other things to do. Like, you don't have to make those 3 abilities like a one-shot. You don't have to make those 5 abilities a one-shot. Just give them a bunch of options and people will create stuff. I know everybody's going to eventually always lead to the most efficient cycle of getting a kill. But directly just setting it up. Like, now you can just shoot somebody, kick them, pull them in, shoot somebody. That's a kill. That's a kill every single time. Shoot, kick, pull in, shoot. Shoot, kick, pull in, shoot. That's going to be a easy cycle for people to get on top with. But then again, it might make Black Widow an interesting character, because she might now turn into like a real Call of Duty character, where she'll be in the middle of the battlefield with the sniper, like quick scoping and stuff like that, rather than being all the way back outside. Like, now that if somebody does press her in here, she can do a fair amount of damage in a quick second. That might make her be in the paint some more, but I doubt it. I think it might just, you know how people might be. It might just lead to more of them sitting in the corner and then being like, oh, I got kills because they killed the one dude that jumped them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It might not be what the character's going for, the character needs. Hawkeye. We're improving Clint's mobility while drawing his bow, enhancing his combat capabilities, and increasing the threat of his ultimate ability. Reduce the slow effect while charging the bow from 30% to 20%. Increase both instances of damage for hypersonic arrow from 50 to 55. Decrease energy cost for Hunter's Sight ultimate ability from 3700 to 3100. And improve the bow draw speed increase from 1.35 to 1.5. This is cool. I do not miss Hela and Hawkeye meta. However, I do have sympathy for a character being there for somebody who does want to play that type of character. And I do know there's only about 2 snipers in the game. Everybody kind of headshot and do a lot of damage. Everybody's basically diet Hela. But, you know, we still gonna need a Black Widow and a Hawkeye to have a character there for those people who want to play that type of character. This is interesting because it might even make me try Hawkeye a game or two. You know what I'm saying? I might be the one who doesn't switch. Hela. The Goddess of Death will see a reduction in mobility while slightly enhancing her offensive power. Increase cooldown time for Astral Flock from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. That's respect. I always felt like that move came back way too quickly. She was teleporting a little too much for a character that did the damage she could. Increased spell field damage of Piercing Knight from 30 to 35. Just that. So yeah, this is her move with the spikes. Projectiles, stick on enemies. So it currently does 30 damage on explosion. How much direct damage does it do? It's 10 damage. So you fire 4 of them. It could be 40 if you land all of them, plus 30 damage per round. It's 120, 60. It's currently 160. So the extra 5 damage, 160 just for this one move. It's kind of why I see it. So I don't know. I ain't doing the math for where that puts it at with the 5s, but oh wait, it'll be 185 now. If you land everything for this one move, that's kind of sick. I guess that puts somebody at 1 shot for her regular basic attack. I would assume so. Decrease the cooldown time for Soul Drainer from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. Okay. I do feel like she needs that stun a little bit more, but I just never want to play the game where the Hela is happy that that thing has a shorter cooldown now. That move already is kind of annoying, and it does have utility because I think it can stop some people triggering ults. But you know what? More utility for that character. I can respect it. She'll be doing something else with that orb other than just throwing it to stop the guy who's jumping her, or like cheese somebody who is not looking at her. She can maybe use it now for more plays with the team. Almost like I think the one on Scarlet Witch, I think that one is not used not that well. I don't be seeing people use that stun. That thing stuns people 3 times. If a tank is in there with their shield, it will break it. Like, it stuns a tank. Like, you could do that 3 times. That move is OP. But I don't see anybody using it like that. So, like, something like this, I think this is crazy. But is anybody gonna use it? Who knows? We'll see. Human Torch. Johnny's attack feedback and survivability are being improved to enhance his impact across various combat scenarios. Yeah, I do see that. But what is it? Reduce attack interval for fire cluster from 0.6 seconds to 0.5 seconds. The launch timing of the primary attack projectile has been advanced. He could shoot those faster. He definitely needed to. The launch timing of the primary projectile has been advanced. Oh, so this is... Huh? So what move is this? So this second part is just them saying that... It's just them putting it in layman's terms. Because this is his basic attack. The launch timing of his primary attack projectile has been advanced. So... But is that not what it says right here? Reduce attack interval for a file cluster from 0.6 seconds to 0.5 seconds. You reduced his basic attack. The launch timing of his basic attack has been advanced. So, I don't know. I'm gonna just read that like that. Increased the cooldown for Flaming Meteor from 12 seconds to 15 seconds, but added a new effect. After releasing Flaming Meteor, immediately gain 75 bonus health, which will start to fall off 3 seconds at a later rate of 30 per second. While this character needs this, I'm not a fan of just throwing shields on people. And that's how we're gonna compensate for the kit being not really tuned out, or the guy just not having much options with the types of moves that you give him. Like, he might need something else. Like, his moves are interesting, but are they all ever gonna work? Like, maybe you could trade out one interesting move, give it to a different character, and give this guy something that will, like, be a little bit more sturdy and stuff like that. I'm not saying that that's his problem, but what I'm saying is there's different options besides just giving bonus health on doing moves. And this, I mean, though, what might happen here is that he actually has some play in different... I can see what they may be going for, various combat scenarios, because now if he dives and he gets 75% shields, plus if he has an invisible woman on the team, that team up gives him shields too as well. He can dive, use his shotgun basic attack, which is now a little bit faster, and get a kill, then fly out. He would be playing like a hothead. Like, you know what I'm saying? He would be diving in, diving out. He would be rushing the enemy and doing all of these crazy plays, like literally zip-zapping around the map, especially with his sprint dash that he has in the air. I can see that gameplay maybe coming to fruition with this. So, we'll see. Iron Man is seeing some improvements to his mid-range combat effectiveness. Slightly reduce Iron Man's hitbox size. I'd just like to see a graphic on what they mean. New feature. Gain 100 bonus health activating armor overdrive or gamma overdrive. That will start to fall off 5 seconds later at a rate of 30 per second. Okay, something like this. I don't think this is like a buff. Or maybe like this is obviously a buff. But this is not like the character is better now because we changed this. I think a bad hitbox size was like a bad decision, not a buff or a change. Like, I feel like everybody's character should always be the visual that I'm looking at of the character. I should never be aiming at something that isn't necessarily him. So I just consider that a poor decision, but I guess it's obviously a buff. But like, don't even be like, you need something else here. He needed something else that wasn't something dumb like this. Like, why was that even on him in the first place? I don't even play that character, but I do know, I always felt like that. I was like, he's just like a square in the air to hit. No, a rectangle in the air to hit. In this, I mean, this is cool. I might use this a lot, honestly. Iron Man might get playtime out of me. I don't know how the rest of the people is going to play him, though. But Iron Man might get playtime out of me just with this. I might play him by default. What they need to do is give him something else to team up with besides Hulk. That's honestly a really big issue with him. Because it's not even like there's another chance for it to do. You really only want to do it if somebody's going to give you a damage boost. So that now it could be, alright, I had 3 options and I'm still playing him. That was, you know, now I want to play this character. I might use this. He might get playtime out of me. But he needs to team up with somebody else. And I think he might need, like, one move that's like a dash. Like, he needs, like a side dash. Like, as if he, like, is, I don't know, his suit, like, pushed him to the side or whatever really quickly. He needs one of those. Not like a Star-Lord dash. He just needs an actual dash. They need to get rid of those too. They need to get rid of dashes and flips where you're invulnerable. Any move where you're invulnerable that isn't an ult really has to go from the game. Magic in her portal, Star-Lord flipping, the symbiote team up on all the spider people. All of those moves, yeah, we got to stop with the invulnerability on them. Psylocke during her ult. If you guess right and you shoot an Iron Man ult into the middle of a Psylocke ult, bro, it should kill her. She should not be invulnerable during that. Do something. Iron Fist. Lindley? I don't even know. My fault. We'll see an increase in his combat effectiveness against vanguards, a slight improvement to his mobility, and a slight reduction to his survivability when first entering the battlefield. Reduce bonus health gain from harmony recovery from 150 to 100, but slow the fall-off rate of that health from 25 to 15 per second. Interesting. Kind of cool. I don't play him, but I can see that being useful. Lower the fixed damage of Yaji Chun Kien from Kuan? Who knows? From 10 to 9, increase the percentage damage of the enemy's max health per strike from 1.7 to 2.1. Wow. Whatever this move is, I don't feel like going to go check it, but that's a noticeable buff. Whatever this move is, where I have to assume it's either after he blocks and then he can punch, or during his ult. That punch or something like that, but one of the punches where he hits you multiple times. I have to assume it's probably one of those things. Something is getting a massive buff. That's pretty noticeable. Percentage damage of the enemy's max health. Flat health, flat percentage, flat penetration. Those are all good. Just having it be a fixed number on a character, it might be a bad decision, but like, if somebody were to get that, that's a really good buff. To have some increase to that. Decrease the cooldown for Kulon. Decrease the cooldown for Kulon kick from 12 to 10 seconds. Interesting. Interesting. This is supposed to make him kill tanks more? Well, I can see actually with the max health thing. That might be it. I was thinking the squishies the whole time. Like, does that really matter? Like, he already kills them kind of fast. But, like, no. For tanks, that's a big number. Big increase. Mr. Fantastic. We are enhancing Reed's capabilities while making some balance adjustments to his ultimate energy charge rate, adding additional controllability, and optimizing the release experience of his ability. Yeah, let's stop increasing the health on him and just make him a tank already. This character is annoying to play against, especially when he's considered DPS. Might as well just make him a tank, though. That'll ease 20% of my pains right there. Just put him in that category, and then we can start talking about him in this fashion. There's no reason for a DPS to have 375 health. I mean, at least in this game, I mean, we're playing, like, Smite or Dota or, like, Deadlock. Like, alright, fine. I'll take a character with a drastically different health for a different type of build. But this guy is one of, like, a good handful of characters in this game that feel damn near unkillable because of all of these other moves that they have. And they're DPS. Boost the damage of Stretch Punch from 60 to 65 and 70 to 80 while in inflated state. Flexible elongation to effect. Enemies within range now suffer a 35% slow effect. Reduce flexible elongation cooldown time from 10 seconds to 8 seconds. Why? I mean, I guess because, like, you're making the move not just be to stop dying. But come on now. Come on now, bro. Like, you already faced so many penalties when he pops that move as an enemy. Yeah, he just got, like, 2 more. It's coming back faster, and you're slow when you're in there. Reduce the elasticity gain from elastic strength passive ability from 30 to 20. Okay, cool. While the elasticity provided by Stretch Punch is increased from 5 to 8. Bro, come on now. I mean, I guess it's going to make it feel like a different flow. And it might be a little bit more believable because it wasn't believable before the way he was getting it. It was like so erratically, he would just inflate randomly in the battle. So maybe this will make it feel like when you're looking at him and playing against him, it makes sense when he's getting it now. After entering the inflated state, the bonus health provided to self has been... After entering the inflated state, the bonus health provided to self has been reduced from 450 to 400. Hey, I could go for that. Lower more of his health. New feature: when Mr. Fantastic uses Brainiac Bounce ultimate ability, immediately gain bonus health equal to that gained when entering inflated state. I mean, I guess this means that when he triggers his ult at low health, he has the ability to use it, because sometimes he would actually die. He was one of the few characters where when they pop ult, they actually kind of do die. So, like, yeah, I mean, whatever. But I also didn't want the guy who jumps up and down on the battlefield as an ultimate to be more unkillable. But okay. Now we're talking Moon Knight. We're optimizing Mark's Moonblade projectile bounce feedback while improving maneuverability, ultimate ability, and survivability. Oh my goodness.
Can't you guide me?
Increase Crescent Dart projectile speed from 120 to 150 milliseconds. I did feel like this was an issue when you're trying to track people while shooting with him. Obviously, get good and aim better, yeah, but there also is when you're playing, when you see all, there's a million other characters who have attacks that are all almost hit skid. If not, they're a very fast projectile, and this guy's basic attack is you have to trail it by a very good margin. It was kind of a gap in playing that character versus another. It was almost like playing Storm, but Storm kind of makes sense because she could fly and she could get any angle she wants. You had like Storm projectiles on the floor. Like, who wants that? I mean, obviously, I wasn't having a problem with him. I was winning some games with him, but still, dope buff. Obviously, if I'm playing him, I'm gonna be like, yeah, dope. Well, my only problem is the buffs. They bring too many people over him. Now the character's getting banned and stuff like that. Getting tight. Moonbelly Dual Flip. Gain 25 bonus health with each enemy hit, up to a maximum of 100. 3 seconds after the bonus health stops increasing, it will start to fall off at a rate of 20 per second. That's kind of OP. This is about 8 seconds of full health if it bounced off of a bunch of people. No, there's about 8 seconds of 100 extra health if it bounced off of 4 people. That is a very large margin, but what is not to be mistaken is during a lot of combat scenarios, if you just toss that boomerang, you may get a bunch more extra health. Forget it if you have an Ankh on the floor. You may actually get a lot more health during some scenarios. But bouncing off of 4 people, I feel like that, doesn't that move? I swear to God, it says it only bounces off of 3 people. What is called a bounce? What is it? What is specifically a bounce? Alright, it lands on a guy, 1 bounce. Lands on a second guy, 2 bounce. Lands on the third guy, 3 bounce. And then it hits the 4th guy. So, is that how that logic tracks? Because I was about to say, if this, I was initially thinking that this meant it only hit 3 people. Hitting 4, I guess, makes sense, and I think it does in gameplay. I think I have seen it hit 4 people. So this is really good for me. Not for anybody else. Not for Moon Knight as a character. I don't think he needs buffs. I actually think the only thing he really needed was a nerf to his ultimate speed. He gets that way too quickly. That's coming from somebody who cheeses matches with this character. He gets his ult a little too fast, and I see nothing about that. Actually, there's an ult buff down here. Speed up Moon Knight hook pull start time after hit from 0.4 seconds to 0.15. This was needed. That move, while I would use it to enhance my ability to get out of situations, you know, a bunch of bad ults coming my way, I would just use the projectile to get up. The problem was, he would do it way too slowly. People would see the direction you were obviously going, and they would plan to hit you way before you even got there. So that was his issue, but you doing that with all of these other buffs? Nah, son. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then let's get down to what's going on here. Bro, extended the ult duration. Wow. Move is... Bro, the move... It currently, in its current iteration, takes a slight bit of finesse to get a kill. It's not an insta-kill. It just takes a little bit of finesse to maybe fry the whole team. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think it's in the right spot. Extending the duration, crazy. By a full second, crazy. I do think, I said to myself, if it only lasted a little bit longer, I would have got more kills. But I was saying it was for the better that I didn't get more kills, because I would have been cheesing the enemy if I got that kill like that. But on tanks, I could kind of see it. Somebody like a group basically wouldn't die in the ult. It was kind of annoying. And increased the number of talents generated during this period from 14 to 18. Buck wild. Buck wild. Those things already do a good amount of damage. It's about 3 of them to kill somebody, I think. And if you trigger that ult and then toss an onk, which pulls people inward, you toss the ult, then you toss an onk to keep people in there. They get hit when the ult drops. You onk them in, that's another hit. As they're walking out, they would take the third. You're now adding more, and these things have crazy splash damage too. So even if you're outside of the ult, that thing kind of still hits you because a fist landed at the edge of the ult and then had splash damage outside of it. That's kind of crazy, adding more of them and making it longer. Oh, I kind of see it though, because if they increased the duration, but it was still the same amount of hands, it would have been wild. So I guess they had to add 4, but 4 really is wild. Additionally, the spell feed of the talents has been slightly enhanced. Crazy. A new damage fall-off mechanic for the spell field has been added, beginning at 1.5 meters from the center and reaching a maximum of 70% at 5 meters. So if the fist lands directly on your noggin, you're taking mad damage. But okay, so this kind of does address the thing where I was just saying, where when you stand outside of the ult, it feels like you're still getting hit by it and it would do mad damage. 70% at 5 meters is kind of okay. But 5 meters is kind of a large field, I think. Almost positive that's pretty large. Yeah, this is crazy. Listen, I'm going to be farming. I just hate to see more people who are playing him in the lobbies now. They're going to be exposed to my cheese, just like when they buff Storm. And I'm going to have to go do something else. And they just buffed Penny Parker. I might go play Penny Parker now. I want to go see. I've been meaning to play Shorty for a minute. Scarlet Witch. We're reducing Wanda's survivability, but increasing her threat level against strategist duelists while optimizing her ultimate ability release experience. All I have to say is, before I even look at anything, all you have to do is stop her from teleporting every 2 seconds. And she's not even that good of a character, but she will be, because people will have to play her a certain way if you just get rid of that one thing. But let me see what they did change. Remove chaos control % damage while increasing fixed damage from 60 to 80. That was why it felt so nice. They needed to keep that. That felt really good. That made sense to that character too. Yeah, no, this is whack. Do not make it like, I don't know what Cloak and Daggers is like, but don't make it like that. Like, that sucks. Like, just a flat amount of damage from holding and looking at somebody for a certain amount of time. That's butt. It needed to be % fixed. It needed to be the fixed damage. The % damage, which feels nicer on a character like that, because it does feel like a radical tether or bond or something that's doing damage. Like, it's like, oh, it has a certain vibe to it sometimes when you use it, rather than it just being some straight ghouly, soul eater that just always does a certain amount of damage. Like, that's kind of whack. Increased Chthonian burst projectile damage from 35 to 40, and spell field damage from 35 to 40. Okay, that's cool. I mean, those baseballs kind of already hit pretty damn hard, but this does bring her into the meta a little bit. I feel like this brings her closer to being a character where it's not too much of a joke by playing them. There's only a couple of vibes where I'll play Scarlet Witch, and to be honest, it just feels like a game where I can get away with it. Like, I don't even know. Sometimes it is one of the picks we needed, but a lot less than some other characters on the roster. So this might give her the ability to be a pick we could actually use on a team more often. Increase the cooldown of Mystic Projection from 8 seconds to 10 seconds, and reduce the phase time state from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Thank you. This is what needed to happen. I'm fine. Now, this is respect. This is respect, because they actually should have still maybe left the % damage on her, but whatever. I'll take these two kind of buffs. Rework the slow effect of reality erasure to start at 1.5 seconds instead of starting immediately, with the linear increase to 35% slow over 3.5 seconds. I'm assuming, well, it would have said that was her ult. Is that her ult? It is her ult. They didn't just say it. That's why I hate sometimes when they type a little too much, because they'll do it like here, but then you're sitting here and you're reading it and it doesn't say it right here. And I know, like, you know, this is human error, like somebody typed this or whatever. That's dope. But what I'm saying is, you just be consistent by then just naming things, and we have to go like know them or look them up. Because if you're doing something like this and I'm tracking it and I'll be like, oh, it wasn't her ult, that, you know, we're starting false information in here. Might as well just hit something. Like, you save yourself the trouble. Don't even bother typing stuff like this at the end of your sentences. It will be alright. Star-Lord, we're reducing Peter's damage output and the efficiency of his ultimate charge ability rate. Reduce blaster barrage damage from 80 per second to 75. Introduce a new damage fall-off mechanic starting at 4 meters and maxing out at 80% reduction at 8 meters. Okay, so that's his E ability, and yes, it needs that. I was just playing with somebody the other day, and somebody said, yo, I swear to God, this move has to have, like, it does more damage or it lasts longer the less health he has. And I just found it funny because when I play him, I always felt like, I don't even play him that much, but I always feel like that move lasts to do about, if you hit people from start to finish, does just about 75% of every character's health most of the time. Unless, like, they're a tanking something or whatever. But most characters, it almost always, they're near death after using this move on them, and they were in it the whole time. I do see now adding a bit more reward to people who get at least some distance from him when he's triggering it. It always did kind of feel like, too, like it was just flat damage in an area around you. I guess it never did have fall off now that I'm reading it. It never did have fall off. It was just mad damage in an area no matter what. Yeah, this definitely needed that. It definitely needed to hit you for less the farther you were away from him while he was triggering it. Winter Soldier. Hold on. There's some thoughts here. We're lowering Bucky's threat level against Vanguards and reducing the margin of error for his ultimate ability. We're lowering Bucky's threat level against Vanguards and reducing the margin for error in his ultimate ability. Reducing the margin for error? Reducing the margin for error. Let me read this. Hold on. Increase the cooldown time for Bionic Hook from 8 to 12 seconds. Incoming. Reduce the base damage of Kraken Impact's ultimate ability from 100 to 80, but lowering the culling threshold from 20% of maximum health to 15. What? I feel like all three of these lines contradict the line. Reducing the margin for error. You thought I was gone for good. This sounds to me like you were trying to make it easier to use the ability. I could be wrong. So then I read, this doesn't have anything to do with it. Reduce the base impact of his ability from 100 to 80. That sounds like you're making it harder to use the ult. And then it goes, but, like, okay, you made the ult harder to use, but we also made the ult harder to use. Right, what? What's going on here? Well, understanding what they did put, I'm happy, cause this guy needs a nerf. That's basically it. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I just didn't know like what they're how they're trying to say they move in here. I mess with it though. Yeah, nerf him some more. I want to stop banning him. I actually want to play the character, but he's too cracked. This guy's crazy. Yeah, ban him. Get him out of here. Wolverine, we're tuning Logan's rage acquisition rate and slightly lowering his control intensity over enemies. Increase rage gain from Savage Claw hits from 7 to 10. While rage gain from Berserk Claw Strike has been decreased from 7 to 5. Reduced rage gain from Barrel Leap from 20 to 10. And from Vicious Rampage from 20 to 15. However, rage gained from taking damage has been increased from 3 to 5. I feel like this is what they did on Mr. Fantastic, where they're trying to make it feel more natural to play with and against. rather than just feeling weird. I did feel Wolverine's rage was kind of near that same level too. Wolverine's rage was, it just kind of felt like he just randomly was crashing out. There was no rhyme or reason to it, and I didn't know if that was the character they wanted or not. So I'm happy to see that they are honing in on something. Reduce the time an enemy is knocked down after an impact from last stand. Ultimate ability. From 1 second to 0.75 seconds. Yes, because this, and there's one other move that's like it. I keep forgetting what move it is. It might be Stranger's Ult, but there's another move that like super stuns you, and I feel like it stuns you just a little bit too long because it makes anybody who even has 2 thumbs be able to get a kill during it. Like you should maybe have them, when they do the ult, they get to choose really hard or really quickly who they want to choose and to eliminate, not just you have a good moment to handle a bunch of people. Strategists. Adam Warlock. We're slightly reducing the frequency of Adam's abilities and adjusting the healing provided by his ultimate ability after reviving teammates. I was just saying, does this ultimate have heals? Because I wanted it to. I was about to say, if his ultimate ability healed you when you got out of it, that would make it 10 times better. Increase the cooldown for Soul Bond from 30 seconds to 40 seconds. That's kind of calm, but you kind of need to give me more regular heals if that's the case, because otherwise the Adam Warlock still really, I mean, maybe at one above all he is, but I do feel like you have a bunch of healers on the team. Like, if the Adam Warlock's cracked, that's dope, but Adam Warlock ain't like somebody picking Luna Snow or Cloak and Dagger, or maybe even Invisible Woman, you know what I'm saying, where it's a little bit easier to just do that task. I feel like Adam Warlock, unless he's dropping bodies, cracking revives, and min-maxing the heals, that's when he's like, okay, yeah, that was kind of calm. It wasn't Adam Warlock's fault. But they didn't seem to change that. Karmic Revival ultimate ability now restores 30% of a fallen ally's maximum health instead of a fixed 100 health. That's dope. That's kind of sick. That actually helps out a lot. Oh, maybe that's why some of the healing counts. I always wondered why. But I thought, I guess it's considered healing when you restored their health to full health. I didn't know it considered it that. I always wondered why on Adam Warlock I felt like I got a bunch of heals I didn't actually get. And now the way they just described it here, it's coming from when I res somebody. It's considered that I brought them from 0 to what happened to be 100 health for everybody. So if I revived the old teammates, that was 600 heals right there. I guess that's still not that much, but you get a couple of revives per game. Maybe it even counts that for the passive ults, like the for Star-Lord and Mantis. What if it even counts that too? That'd be crazy. But now we're just gonna restore more health. That actually does that kind of does put bro on the map a little bit. Oh, and now you could use it more aggressively. Okay, that's kind of cool. You could use this more aggressively, like more in the fight, because it won't be like they just spawn in with 100 health and they can get one shot. Like a 30% health Hulk could maybe stop something that's about to happen. Or even if I give the Scarlet Witch who's about to ult just one finger snap after she gets out, that 30% health means I could more likely get that snap on her rather than the 100. Okay, kind of cool. I think. Wait, no. Nah, because if it was 30% health, I mean, she got 250. It really don't actually matter now that I'm thinking about it, because 30% of like what is Scarlet Witch's health? Like it gotta be 200 or 250. If it was 200, 50% of that would be, yeah, nah. We'll see how this plays out. Cloak and Dagger. We're optimizing the logic of this dynamic duo's ultimate ability. After activating Eternal Bond ultimate ability, the duration of the first 3 healing zones will no longer be calculated separately. Instead, they will remain active until the duration of the final healing zone ends, at which point all will be removed together. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. I like this not still directly addressing that Magneto's only purpose is to kill this character in her ult, and Magneto's the only person who could kill her in her ult. Maybe like a Hawkeye during his ult or a Punisher during his ult maybe can kill her. I do like, because what I did think, and I'm happy they didn't mention it, I think they have a problem doing this, where they'll say something and it makes people do it, like on the last patch. where they said, oh, we want to stop Magneto from killing Cloak and Daggers. So that made a million Magnetos who, like, I knew I could use his ult to stop Cloak and Dagger. Not everybody knew that. You said that in one of the patches. This is the reason why we did it. Now, everybody, even when you nerfed him and buffed them to try and despair against that, now you just have more people using him specifically to do that task. Sometimes you don't even need to mention it. So what I like here is that it doesn't actually address that, but it does give her some utility, because that's how I recently started thinking about using Cloak and Dagger's ult. I was like, I need to use like the first 2 dashes around the teammates, but then like dash away into like a hallway or something, so that Magneto can't kill me. Because, like, to be honest, that's the only way this interaction works now. Like, where are you gonna go after using her ult where Magneto won't drop a magnet on you, but you also need to heal your teammates? It's not really possible. So leaving this that it ends when I get to all the way to the end, and then it starts counting down, and they all go together. That was one of the problems. It was like I would dash, but then I would spend time dashing away twice while the other waves were already kind of going away. So now my ult really was only like 2 seconds of good heals on the floor. Then it disappears, and I'm still dashing away, not healing my teammates while they're losing my ult. So this is kind of sick. This gives me the ability to do that meme that I've been trying. Invisible Woman will be fine-tuning Susan's protective capabilities to create a more strategic gameplay experience. Decrease the shield value of Guardian shields from 300 to 250. Okay, I guess they're saying they're gonna cook. This did need a nerf, but it also needs a cooldown on triggering it like a billion times in a row until it breaks. It needs that cooldown, but still, I guess we'll see what's happening. Loki. To balance Loki's influence in matches, we're making a small adjustment to the frequency of one of his key abilities. Increase regeneration domain cooldown from 25 seconds to 30 seconds. I mean, dope. I guess this just means he's less effective in a 3 healer scenario, because I don't think this matters on people who regularly play Loki without like a triple heal setup. He's kind of lethal on a triple heal setup, and he still has these things, so those extra 5 seconds kind of do help. Mantis. To emphasize strategy over speed, we're modifying Mantis's health and buff mechanics. Reduce base health from 275 to 250. Effects of healing, flower, and applied aspiration can be stacked up to a maximum of 16 seconds. That's pretty dope. I want to see Mantis get more play. She did need that, because it was kind of hard to heal people without... It was just kind of hard to heal people with Mantis. She can't keep adding value to somebody when she already gave them value. Every other healer can just about keep throwing moves on top of you, and you'll keep gaining health. She was one of the few where if you threw 2 of your healing moves on somebody, it didn't do anything really. Rocket Raccoon. Rocket's healing abilities will see some adjustment to enhance team survivability while balancing his mobility. Decrease the healing area of repair mode spheres from 70 health to 50 health a second, but add a new effect of one-time healing of 55 health to allies on hit. Projectile speed reduction increased from 4 meters a second to 7 meters a second. Okay, so when it first hits an ally, it's guaranteed to give him 55 health. That does make him feel more consistent. I like that. But it doesn't give as much health when it's bouncing back and forth between shit. Okay, and it doesn't slow down as hard when it's going past something. Extend cooldown for jetpack dash from 6 seconds to 10 seconds. Reduce dash distance from 10 meters to 8 meters. I mean, I guess I see this, but this only made him hard to kill for the people who would obnoxiously dive and try and kill the healers and think that they had no way of fighting back. That was like one of Rocket's ways of fighting back. Just dash around and waste their time. They're probably not going to be able to kill you with the healing orbs too. So making him easier to be chased like a rat is crazy. Reduce CYA ultimate ability damage boost from 40 to 25%. That's crazy. But added a new effect. During the ability's duration, linked allies will receive an additional 100 bonus health points per second, capping at 150. Oh, it makes it a little bit healer-like. Okay. After breaking the link, the bonus damage starts to fall off after 1 second of a rate of 75 per second. Additionally, increase the energy cost from 3,700 to 4,000. That's pretty interesting. The ult now has some support ability. Him and Adam Warlock and Rocket can maybe do a little bit of something. They might be, the res comp might be up. The res comp might be up. Because now there's, at least there are 2 of their ults. Even if they do trigger them, they might have the ability to keep people alive when they trigger them. It's not like they trigger them and when all the other healers use their moves, they keep their teammates invulnerable. These guys might still be able to do a little bit of something with the extra healing they added to their ults. Team up abilities. New, Arcane Order, Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. This mystical duo is set to enhance their powers. As the team-up anchor, Doctor Strange gains a maximum health increase of 100. Scarlet Witch unlocks a new magical mystic burst ability through her team-up with Doctor Strange. That's kind of dope. Strange did need another team-up besides Banner. And Scarlet Witch, I think we'll actually see some more play. I have no idea what the team-up is. I can only assume it's damage, and giving Doctor Strange some extra health is kind of crazy. That plus a banner, extra health and damage, kind of like to see that. This is what I think they need to do with the team-ups, but the way they were shaking up team-ups, they might be doing it like they kind of want to push certain characters or whatever for the time being, so they'll try and move some stuff around. I have no problem with them changing who does team-ups for things. I have a problem when I feel like you're doing it so that we can gravitate towards playing characters for business, not for the health of the game. So while this does seem kind of good, who knows where the other changes will go, where, you know, the new character that comes out has all of the OP team-ups, and everybody else who had good team-ups, they lost them that season, so that we all were forced to play the good character that season. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? We'll see. This one's kind of good. It gives you more reason to play Scarlet Witch. Captain America and Winter Soldier, a classic partnership now with added strength. They needed this. Captain America needs somebody. Like, they've had a bunch of people team up with people who it was just like, I get it, but off rip, that's who you picked. Like, this was one that needed to happen. Like, Captain America and Winter Soldier don't do nothing together. Captain America and Iron Man kind of up there, too. We need that Ultimate Alliance, Beam to the Shield, or a First Avengers movie. As a team of anchor, Captain America gains maximum health increase of 100 and a 5% boost in damage output. That's nutty. Wow. He doesn't need that. And Winter Soldier unlocks a devastating stellar impact ability through his team up with Captain America. I don't want to reference something I barely saw, but I do think I saw this in like the trailer. They referenced this, and I want to see what the ability is. But if it's another like you have to confirm ability, I think those are kind of weird, and I hope they figure out something a little bit more concrete. For the Wolverine throw and Hulk, that's kind of fine. I still don't know how the one works for Storm's ult. Because even still, it's kind of weird where, like, I've still triggered my ult anyways, and then Johnny triggers his ult, and he throws it on the floor. I collect over it, and it works during my ult. I didn't have to, like, tell him to team up with the ability. So, I don't know. I'm just asking for some consistency on these type of things. If it's another one where the two people have to agree on what they're doing, I guess if you're going to keep making more of them, make them alright. Because I already know one, at least with the Storm and Johnny team up, I still don't know how it makes sense. But, like, if we just both press ult, it works, you know? Make one of them the more consistent way of doing it. When Rocket throws down his infinite ammo to Punisher and Winter Soldier, that doesn't require confirmation from them. They have to see that it's on the floor. They have to go use it. That kind of makes sense. But when you ask for everybody to be saying yes and no to stuff, bro, come on now. We're leading to cheese and dumb scenarios. Mental projection, Emma Frost, Psylocke, Magneto. A powerful trio that connects minds and abilities. As the team-up anchor, Emma Frost gains maximum health increase of 100. Magneto receives magnetic resonance ability through his team-up with Emma Frost. Psylocke receives soul resurgence ability through a team-up with Emma Frost. I guess we just have to see what these team-ups are. Removed this from Winter Soldier. A slight change for the battle-hardened hero. Winter Soldier loses the infinite grid ability he once had through his team up with Rocket Raccoon. I'm sad about this because I still have this dream where one day you'll be able to pick and there will be the ability to make 2 unique teams, and everybody who picked a character, all 6 of your teammates, have 2 new team up abilities through the characters we picked, and the enemy picked a different unique 6 set of people and they still have 2 abilities. This will lead to the game being able to be more of an actual cooperative experience. It still kind of is. I kind of give this game that you kind of can play this feeling a little bit more cooperatively than I've felt other games gestured you to play. But this moves away from that because we're getting scared at the characters we're adding, and there not being enough room for multiple characters to have team ups. But I feel like that's a problem of how you're trying to add people and whatever rate. They just, I think, confirmed that they're only going to release one character per season. And there's probably like, 2 billion characters you could pick from in the Marvel universe. How do you just keep adding people that have to team up with the same 5 people and that share a relation with somebody else? And now you got to move things around so that these 3 characters don't become, too OP. You have to make a good character, and we have to see how long it takes to make a good character. But we also know how development works. These guys got to have these. They know for the next 2 years what characters they're going to go release. I'm pretty sure they're planning year 3 right now. So, we could add some characters and start getting toward, let's add that element of the game. Let's build the team before we start. Only thing you currently hear now is, can I get a Venom for the team up? We have a Lunar Snow. Can we get a Namor? He's better with the team up. Like, that's literally all we hear right now. Chilling charisma. Lunar Snow Namor. Things are heating up as synergies change. Namor has lost the frozen spawn ability from his team up with Lunar Snow. No, wait. This one doesn't say. Oh, adjusted or removed. Okay. I was about to say, didn't Namor get the Hulk buff? Dimensional shortcut. Great. I'm just tired of hearing people ask for this stupid team up. We have a Lunar Snow. Can we get a Namor? We have a Namor. Can we get a Lunar Snow? It's much better with the team up. Yeah, we know. We got to get that out of here. Thank God. Yeah, remove that interaction. I'm cool. I have no other comments. Dimensional shortcut magic Psylocke. A temporal reconfiguration for these powerful souls. Psylocke has lost the psionic disc ability previously attained from a team up with magic. Good. Who needed her to teleport more than she already does? Gamma Charge. Hulk, Doctor Strange, Namor. Doctor Strange loses the Gamma Maelstrom ability previously gained from his team up with Hulk. Namor now gains the Gamma Monstro ability through his team up with Hulk. I'm happy to see that Hulk will be played for another reason besides boosting Doctor Strange, because that kind of was an annoying comp. Or he has other reasons to be played now. That's not like his top reason to be played, because we have a Strange. But isn't this all a product of... Because I feel like something's coming with Lunar Snow and What's-Her-Face. Or well, maybe not, right? Nah, yeah, Magneto gets this. Psylocke loses that. Oh, so Magneto lost this. Oh, that's why. That's why all of these changes happen. Okay, look. Magneto has to team up with this character that they forced in here. They remove Magneto's change. They remove Magneto and Scarlet Witch from having this team up. So now they have to give a team up to Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. And then, since they gave that, they now have to remove Doctor Strange from this one. Which then means, once you added Namor to this one, you then had to remove Namor from this one. And you had to remove Magic from this one. You had to remove Psylocke from this one. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, where like, okay, like I want you to have every character to have more than one team up. The problem is you added the entire Fantastic Four already. You're adding now this character. Out of all the people in the MCU you could have chose, you chosen another person that got something to do with Krakoa? Are we kidding? Like, bro, that's all Magneto be chatting about. Like, can we pick somebody out? Like, there's a million other characters all related to other issues you could go pick. We're forcing this, which then means we have to change up all of this, and it's actually stopping from a really good scheme later in the future of having a team that you could make that's pretty unique. Like Ultimate Alliance, where like, you would just like pick the same character and it'd be like, oh, you're the think tank, you're all the smartest people in the MCU. And I think it maybe gave bonuses. I think it maybe just put on outfits for the characters. I don't know. But it's a multiplayer game, there's a lot more you could do, and we have these team ups. I do want to see the reality where we could have 2 teams, 6 players on each team. All of us have 2 unique team ups based on whatever characters we chose. That would be dope. And we're not seeing, there's not a duplicate of a character in the match. That's sick. But when you just keep adding characters that have to relate to the last character. Now look, you got rid of 2 whole, more than a bunch, but a couple of like unique animations and models now have to go into the garbage. Namor Squid, Magneto's entire Wanda sword thing, all of that gone in the garbage. That's wasted time. That's wasted time and resources. How about you just add somebody like Colossus and force a random team up with somebody like we couldn't even think of right now? Like, it doesn't have to be somebody can throw Wolverine again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe, but like still, it don't even have to be that again. Like, just pick somebody else. I mean, Professor X again, that would just lead to Magneto. But who's Ultron teaming up with right now? Who's Mysterio teaming up with? You know what I'm saying? Even Blade, like, what is he doing in here right now? Where would he go? But we got another person that Magneto is going to be chatting to. Magneto already talks to the entire roster. Give somebody even Magneto don't know. No kill. Voltaic Union, Thor, Captain America, Storm. A shift in electrical dynamics for this trio. Team up anchor effect for Thor has been removed along with the Voltaic Union ability. What? Yo, this is just a nerf to Storm. Neither of these guys cared about this. That was just an okay move for Storm. And again, they lost the animation for that too. That's crazy. What do they plan on doing? There's not even a change to her here. And the only thing that needs to be changed on Storm is that when she uses her ult, she doesn't need to be invisible. When she uses her ult, she doesn't need to be invisible. Her and Jeff, they gotta remove that. That's the only problem with those characters, is that they're invisible and it's basically a one-shot. Make them visible, the characters are playable. I have no idea what they're cooking up here. Oh, it's because they buffed Thor. They didn't want to see a bunch of Storms. They didn't want to hear that complaint. I guess they're holding it to add it back to see how OP the characters are. I guess they thought having this team up still up when Captain America now has a team up with Bucky and Thor got a buff. I guess they thought then having a team with Captain America, Thor, Bucky, and Storm is too experimental. At least for maybe I can see from their perspective right now. I would, if my game, I'd say whatever, ball out. Let's see what happens. But I can see for them how that would be too experimental. Thor, Captain America, Bucky, and Storm all have a team up on a team. I can maybe see that, but that pushes towards that dream that I keep talking about. This game being like, a very unique mix and match of who we're going to bring and how we're going to spice up all of our team ups and new abilities. But interesting. These notes aren't bad. They're experimental. I think they definitely did or are trying to do a let's tweak something and see what happens angle rather than doubling down on any ideas they may have. It sounds like a bunch of the things are, let's try that ability that when we raised hands and we voted and out of 10 people 7 said this idea. Well, no, it'd probably be like out of 10 people 5 said this idea, but then there was this one idea that got 3 people and this one idea that got 2 people. It looks like they try the ideas, like before they do the idea that we almost everybody agreed on, try the idea where 3 people voted for it and 2 people voted for it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like they're doing with a lot of these changes. They're like, yo, what did that guy over there say? Like, before we just ball out and make it obviously we'll do this with this, and that, and we're not going to let this go to waste or whatnot, let's just try what that other guy said. If not, then fire him. You know what I'm saying? If it don't work, fire him. Maybe. But that's all right. We'll see what this means. We'll see what it do. And I can definitely say they're changes that do something to the game. It's interesting. They're adding a lot of new models and different things that are an actual change to the gameplay of how you would play the character or experience them on the battlefield. Rather than just tweaking 2 numbers on their basic attack, they actually do a little things. They're adding damage fall off to moves pretty quickly. They're changing the flow of how some things cycle through. They're giving a character more identity to do one move instead of another and saying where their intentions are. It's a lot better than how other things will be, where they're just like, yeah, we're just going to decrease a cooldown and maybe just decrease the headshot damage. Like, that wasn't the character's problem. The character's has a million other things. It looks like they're trying a couple of the other options they could go for. So, yeah, respect. Good notes. Good 5s.